Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has the internet upside down after a ton of gameplay and new information was revealed in recent days. This information, new images and gameplay sections were shown in the exclusive demo exposed to certain content creators and press at the past Summer Game Fest. There are so many news that with so much saturation, it's difficult to understand everything the game is going to have. But don't worry, we have you covered here, and I have collected all the information possible so that you are very clear about what to expect from the title. These are 30 things you should know about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. The characters in this new delivery of the Budokai Tenkaichi series will be divided into their respective boxes with each transformation. Just as in previous titles, each transformation will be a separate character and they will have a change in their moveset that will make them unique to each other. This is different than what happens, for example, with Dragon Ball FighterZ, which many of the characters show their transformations briefly in their special attacks or presentations. The gameplay, as shown so far, reserves fidelity to the frenetic arena fighter combat system with a lot of freedom of movement, as well as in the mythical PlayStation 2 games. According to what was stated by several of the content creators who were invited to try out the demo, the gameplay is fluid and satisfactory. The only thing that could be a common inconvenience was that they mentioned how they ran out of keybar pretty quickly, due to the fact of using the dash in the game, which clearly consumes a good amount of energy, when in previous games that didn't happen. It seems a minor problem, but we will see how the community reacts to this once the game is launched. The number of characters so far confirmed for the release of the game is 164, 3 more characters than the complete roster of Tenkaichi 3. We're still waiting to see which of these remaining spaces will be expansion characters with DLC or if they will come directly in the base game, which is what we all expect. The game will be officially released globally on October 11, 2024 for PlayStation 5, PC and Xbox Series. However, players who get the Digital Deluxe Edition or the Ultimate Edition will be given 3-day early access. In theory, you will be able to play from October 8 at last. Local multiplayer mode is now a reality, although not quite as we expected. According to Furutani, the game's producer, Sparking Zero will have local multiplayer even though the game was not initially developed that way. In their words, after players requested overwhelmingly for this game mode to be included, the team found a way to implement it. It turns out that you will only be able to play local multiplayer in the time chamber scenario, because in this scenario the amount of destruction, particles and details in the environment is not so pronounced, and the optimization of the game allows 2 players to fight simultaneously without any performance problem. I like that they at least be transparent with that before the game comes out. Talking about local multiplayer, it will not be possible for both players to choose the same character. Mirror matches will be impossible, according to what is known so far. The game uses Unreal Engine 5. For this reason, they take much more advantage of the lighting and the refracting capabilities to show more spectacular scenarios and special attacks. No one can convince me that this game doesn't look beautiful. In the demo presented in Los Angeles, the players had a total of 50 characters to choose from, and here you can see the selection menu. But be careful, this may not be the final character selection screen, it could change. The director of the project a few months ago revealed in an interview with IGN that the game has been in development for more than 5 years. For anime games standards right now, that's an incredible amount of time, and that's why the vast majority of people have remained very little skeptical with the advances the game has made. The game will have the nostalgic and classic destruction of scenarios in combat. When one of the fighters launched a devastating attack, the scene was destroyed and completely changed to an empty and dead terrain. Now this happens again, and the transitions of these real-time combat arenas look amazing. In some of the matches shown by the content creators, it looks like on the stage of the martial arts tournament, once the combat becomes dangerous for the audience, everyone leaves the stadium to not get hurt. From there, we can start fighting in a wider arena outside the stadium, and the standards begin to become destructible too. This level of detail is brutal. In recent gameplays, you can now see a new mechanic, and it's the clash of grabs. When both fighters make a grab, the unblockable movement at the same time, a new animation jumps in which the two collide with their key waves, and we must press the required command to win the exchange. That's one of the many mechanics that all fans of Budokai Tenkaichi love. The story mode will be treated with unique episodes for each character. This doesn't mean that the story will not be told in a canon form, because effectively we will have cinematics and iconic moments of the series captured in very well polished scenes, but it also means that depending on the characters we select, we will have different situations in the same timeline, with a total of 8 selectable characters according to the words of the producer. It was also confirmed that Goku will be the one who obviously has the most scenarios to cover in the story mode. In this mode, occasionally, we will also be given the option to choose the scenarios we want to face. The clearest example is this one in the Raditz saga, in which if we choose the canon decision, everything unveils as it happened in the manga, but if we choose another option to vary, the situations change, which could lead to Goku transforming into Super Saiyan in the fight against Grade A Vegeta, for example. So the options will be very abundant, and it will add replayability of great proportions to this game. In the cinematics that we mentioned above, those that we saw in the trailer presented at the Summer Game Fest, there are instances in which we have a POV of Goku, literally a first-person perspective. Well, according to the creators who tried the demo, in those cinematics you can manage the perspective. I mean, you can move the analog as you want to change the angle and see the scene from Goku's perspective, or also from the more cinematic option already implemented in the story mode. Very bold decisions, but they can give the players a lot of immersion without doubt. Have you heard of the game mode Custom Battles? Here you can basically set a fight with customizable rules, how long you want it to last, without time limit, handicaps, scenarios, amount of characters, health, etc. Everything is okay, nothing very surprising, but what is seriously interesting here is that the customization options are much wider than you imagine. For example, you can put dialogue events as you prefer, and you can activate more special conditions, such as that the moment the key of both are set to the maximum or there's a beam struggle, everything to make it look like another level of an improvised story mode. According to the words of content creators like Dotodoya or Gloku, the Custom Battles mode has so many fight modifications options that it was difficult to keep up with everything. If that wasn't enough, that custom combat that you created, you can share it with other players online so that the whole world can try it out. This could be very interesting. What do you say? Do you want to create your craziest what if in Sparking Zero fights? In the conventional story mode, not everything will be cinematics with engine. There will also be static images with skippable dialogues. Many people hate this, but apparently they are very dynamic images that don't interrupt the events that much. Just as in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, the energy meters still exist. This is the limit when we can have our ki to the maximum or do an ultimate, or when we can do a special skill like the solar flare and other known boosts. This game will continue to have the iconic torn of clothing, showing a deterioration of the fighters' outfits as they receive damage. It's procedural, and that gives it a more realistic touch, unlike Tenkaichi 3 where we only had a tear of clothing and wounds when we receive a pretty specific powerful attack. We continue talking in terms of gameplay, and the consecutive counterattack system with the Vanish will continue to exist. A very emblematic situation of the Tenkaichi saga, and that was confirmed according to the presentation of the first gameplay showcase. The beam struggles also continue to exist, of course, and the aesthetic touch they gave it's basically the same as when Gogeta and Broly fight, fragmenting the time-space in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Another of the many elements brought back from the Budokai Tenkaichi saga is the boost of techniques. This command is given to us when executing a special attack to give greater damage and even range. Personally, I'm pretty satisfied that they included it again. The Sonic Dodge move was shown in a modern way in recent trailers and allows us to get away from the opponent without much problem in an agile and elegant way. One of the coolest mechanics visually speaking, if you ask me. Now moving on to new mechanics, we need to talk about the Revenge counter, which is a kind of combo breaker that makes sure to remove your rival from you once he is landing a combo, and not so much a hit with armor as myself misunderstood a few months ago. Another new mechanic, Super Perception. This is what allows us to counter rival attacks such as key waves, like in this example in which Goku deflects Vegeta's Gallic Gun. This is a quite seen aspect in the series, and it's spectacular that they have taken into account for Sparking Zero. Finally, another of the highlighted new mechanics that we know about will be the Vanishing Assault, allowing us to approach the rival instantly and decide whether to attack him from the front or directly from the back, as if it was some kind of teleportation. This also consumes a skill meter to balance a little its greater potential. In the demo, after selecting your characters, the transition between the selection menu and the combat is almost imperceptible, for which it can be assumed that there will not be loading screens in these cases, which means we probably won't have the loading screen minigames we loved so much. Sparking Zero will have two different control schemes, and they are the Classic and the Standard. The Classic allows us to make movements more manually, and the Standard makes things easier for new players of the franchise, simplifying the commands more. But that is not all. The game also allows you to manually enable and disable the assistances that the game offers, such as supports, perception, blocking, etc. You can practically set the game to help you do everything automatically. However, I know that's not the goal of many of us who want to play the game. In the demo, there is no ring out mechanic. If you touch the ground, nothing happened. The fight continued. It may be an option to activate or deactivate that mode, but at the moment it's not something I dislike. Finally, the information on the editions. Many have asked me about this, which edition you recommend, which will be worth it. Well, let's go one by one. The first thing is that regardless of the edition you are going to buy, if you pre-order the game, you will have a pre-order bonus in which 7 characters are unlocked in advance, the 3 versions of Vegeta and the other 3 versions of Broly from Super, in addition to a special character which has only been speculated. It's not known exactly who will be, and it's not sure either if this character can be obtained in another way later. So to make sure, the ideal would be to pre-order it in advance. Regarding the available editions, each one has its advantages. The first is the Deluxe Edition, which costs $100, a fairly high price, but it contains early access to play 3 days before its release, as we mentioned before, and also the unlocking of the Season Pass, which includes more than 20 playable characters from Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Daima, in addition to the bonus of summoning Shenron. What does this mean? I'm still not sure. It may be a mechanic directly from the bonuses within the game, something that allows you to make a wish as in previous titles and unlock some skin, character, scenario, I don't know. Then this is the Ultimate Edition. Be careful, these editions that we have mentioned have the digital game, not in physical. In this Ultimate, which costs $110, you have the benefits of the previous edition only with even more Ultimate Improvement bonuses. I repeat, this is very probably about improvements in the online section of the game, such as for your player card, the customization of your fighters, and so on. Additionally, a Superhero Goku skin with the magic stick. And of course we have also the Collector's Edition. $200 you would have to spend on this. It has everything we mentioned above, except the 3-day early access, which is a little unfair to me. In addition to 2 metallic bookmarks and the collector's figure, the one from Broly against Ultra Instinct Goku. For me, this is the one that has the least attractive offer. If you ask me, I think that the best price quality option would be the Deluxe Edition. If you're not a content creator, you have early access, more than 20 characters from the first season, and well, let's say it would be worth it. And if you are a content creator like me, I think it would be better with the Ultimate, in which you have all the other benefits, but with the unedited bonuses that can be of a lot of interest to an audience who cannot get the game on its first day. Guys, with that, we close this special section talking about everything we should know about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero so far. I thank you very much if you reached the end of the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about the game and if you're planning to pre-order it right now. That was all for today, and I'll be watching you in the next video. Take care and see ya.